my professional vision statement, right, is that all students in all schools have access to high quality outdoor environmental education in their daily school experience.
You may or may not go into a career that's tied to this content, but you are going to live in a world where you have to make these decisions. And how can you be knowledgeable and productive and not just a consumer, right? How can you go out and find problems to solve or be active and support and be knowledgeable when you have to be a juror, a voter, a consumer of the products and taking in and living in your community? And how can you just be active and knowledgeable and make the right choices?
Good morning, Montgomery County, and welcome to the OPL podcast with MCIU. My name is Brandon Langer, and I'm the Director of Innovation and Strategic Partnerships at Montgomery County Intermediate Unit, IU23. And today we are continuing our podcast series in Season 5 with an awesome discussion about environmental literacy and where we're headed as a IU, as an educational landscape, and how we're evolving this topic with our students and in our school system. So I'm joined today by two terrific members of the Office of Organizational Professional Learning, and I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hi, everyone. Stephanie Schwab, STEM Program Administrator.
Hi, my name is Erin McCool, and I am the Environmental Mobile Unit Facilitator and Operator.
Thank you both for joining me today. I know there's a lot going on in this space, and I thought it'd be good to kind of kick off today with setting the stage for listeners that maybe haven't been involved with education in the science STEM realm that know about these changes that are coming. So my first question is, as part of the new standard steels coming down the pike, we hear this term environmental literacy and sustainability. It's a part of the standards, but how is this really different than where we've been with past environmental or ecology standards? What's the change look like, and what does it mean for how we're moving forward?
Yeah, so the new environmental literacy and sustainability domain of STEELS is really exciting. What we've done is we've taken what was in the past a lot of concepts around environmental science and ecology, and now we have a set of a domain in our standards that is integrated. And so we're really engaging students in authentic, real-world issues that they are exploring across many different curricular areas. So when we think about environmental literacy, I like to define it as the intersection of human systems and natural systems. And so students are able to navigate these complex environmental challenges in the world and thinking from many different perspectives, from a human perspective, from a science and an engineering perspective. And the domain that we have created for STEELS allows ample opportunities for students to explore real-world sustainability issues and build the skills and the knowledge and the connection to the environment to make change.
So is that just an extension of life science, or is there something more to that?
So we think about when I think about life science, it's, understanding how nature systems work, how natural systems work, and really science-based. When we think about environmental literacy, we're taking that knowledge of environment and ecology, and then how do we apply that, right? So for example, in southeastern Pennsylvania, we have had many issues with natural disasters. When you think about flooding, we had a tornado. How do those events happen? So what is the biology, the science? What is the reasons for those events happening and their impact? But then we take it a step further and we say to students, okay, let's think about the impact on our systems, on our economy, on our public health. How do we rebuild? What are the decisions that we make now that are going to make us more resilient in the future? And so it's taking that life science and it's applying it into our daily lives.
I also think you can add in not only the life science, but the earth and space science component as well. Those standards have their own domain, but you can also see strong connections with the earth and space science and the environmental literacy and sustainability standards as well.
Right.
So, Steph, as you do a lot of this work for the IU, and you've been a part of this kind of, I don't know the right word for it, but the work in developing standards and watching that come down the pike for a couple of years now. How do you feel where we're landing, with particularly with environmental literacy and sustainability? Where are we landing that's going to benefit kids? What's the impact on kids going to be that might look a little different than where we've been before?
I think the biggest piece for me is awareness, and that's what's changed so much for me in the trainings that I've received to be able to support this work. I notice things now that I never did before around me, and I think about how did that happen, or how can I change that, or what impact can I have from an environmental perspective. And the piece for me, I think that's most important for our students is the work that we're trying to do is for right in their community. So what are the environmental issues right here in Montgomery County, or even larger within Pennsylvania if they would like to expand beyond that? So it gives them an awareness that environment's not just walking out into the forest and I'm in the environment now. It's everything that's around me is impacted by the climate, the weather, humans, as Erin had mentioned before, and what's the intersection of those, and how do we let them see that they can make change right in their own home or right in their own schoolyard to support the environment.
Yeah, and I agree, and I think like you said, it really ties what Erin was saying about, and Erin, you said this in some of our planning meetings for the work we've been doing together about the intersection between human systems and nature systems. What do you feel? Steph just mentioned awareness as kind of a key benefit, long-term benefit to students. Do you have anything else that stands out to you as a long-term benefit for students?
For sure. I mean, we know that the world is facing complex challenges. And in order to solve some of the challenges that we're facing, we think about, I mentioned the natural disasters that we're seeing in Montgomery County, but we could go on and on about these challenges. And they're not just science and nature. And the students today are going to be adults who are living through changes that are inevitable. And we're preparing students today with not just the career knowledge and skills, but the skills and the dispositions and the ability to make wise choices in the future. So when another natural disaster happens that maybe we don't know what that's even going to look like, that they have the skills and knowledge to make good decisions for themselves, their future businesses, their communities, their families, and the society as a whole, really, essentially.
Yeah, I think one of the ways that we talk about it as a global piece, even with STEM and environmental literacy, of course, falls into that as well, is you may or may not go into a career that's tied to this content, but you are going to live in a world where you have to make these decisions. And how can you be knowledgeable and productive and not just a consumer, right? How can you go out and find problems to solve or be active and support and be knowledgeable when you have to be a juror, a voter, a consumer of the products, and taking in and living in your community? And how can you just be active and knowledgeable and make the right choices?
I've never heard you say that, and that's awesome. Like it's very, very true how it just needs to be it is going to be a part of your life, whether you sit in a classroom or sit in a lab and do, work in this field. That's very different than how sometimes we look at school. And I think the wider net we can cast to help and enable students to see that earlier in life. I used to say something similar stuff with the arts. Yeah. I know many of you are not going to play the clarinet, for a career, but if you can be an engaged patron of the arts, that's one of my goals as an educator. Yeah. I feel like it echoes a similar tone to what you just said. As we build awareness and as we really build capacity is kind of what we're talking about with students and their ability to engage with this topic. We have a brand new offering coming out from MCIU, the Environmental Mobile Unit, which we are calling the EMU. Yeah. And Erin, you mentioned, this is as one of your key roles here with the IU. So what can you tell us about EMU? We're really excited to get it launched.
Yeah, I'm super excited. This is an amazing tool that I really feel strongly is going to bolster environmental education across Montgomery County and maybe beyond in the future. So we're talking about the benefits of environmental literacy and sustainability, and they are vast. But to do this work, we need to get kids outside. We need teachers to get outside. We need to build the skills in our teachers to do three-dimensional learning and to use the outdoors as a platform for these investigations and for the projects, the action projects, and all of the things that the students are going to do within this environmental literacy and sustainability domain. And, I can't emphasize enough how much of a shift this will be for teachers. I've spoken with teachers over the years who are super engaged and get their kids outside all the time. But at the same tone, there's many teachers who feel anxious about taking kids outside, right? It's very different teaching kids at a stream than it is where you have four walls and you have a lot of control over what's happening. And so the mobile environmental unit is designed to support really in multiple ways. So we have all of the investigative materials that you can imagine that would be helpful to do a schoolyard investigation or to go out to a local park or a nature center and do an investigation out there. So we're going to have students taking data using different probes. We have pocket labs where they can collect weather data and air pollution data, but we're also doing water quality testing, soil testing, all of the different ways that we can look at a space. And then within that, we've also developed these lessons that we will be bringing to schools that are these model lessons to show, okay, this is what this looks like, right? This is the lesson that we envision that uses these tools that is designed around, not aligned, but designed around the environmental literacy and sustainability domain. So with the hope that teachers will be able to use us as a resource, we can come out and design something around what they're specifically doing, or maybe they just book one of our programs that are sort of already developed and planned, and they can say, okay, let me see what this actually looks like at my school ground. So, yeah.
Yep, and you mentioned one of the key benefits here just to articulate is we're coming to you. We're coming to classes. We're coming to schools. We're meeting on parks and being going to be.
Yep.
This is a mobile unit. So Steph, this was piloted through a grant that we received, correct?
Correct. We were lucky to receive a Department of Educational DEP protection. Department of Education Protection, Environmental Education.
Department of Environmental Protection, Environmental Education grants. It's quite a mouthful.
I wanted to just say DEPEE because that's what it is to me, but that won't resonate with everyone. So we received a grant as well as support internally from our own intermediate unit here to get this up and running and to purchase the vehicle and to outfit it. And we're really thankful for that and looking forward to continuing to go after more grants to support this work, but it's because of the work that DEP is doing to help with environmental education that we were able to get this started as well.
And what can you tell us about the vehicle?
So what we're really excited about with the vehicle is that it is fully electric. We did not go with hybrid. We went with an electric, full electric. We will be also modeling with the van, with our trips, how you can use an electric vehicle to travel as well. So it's one of the things Erin's going to be working on. We will also be outfitting it with solar panels so that the electricity we need for the iPads and everything that's on it, we will be able to use.
We'll be able to pull out the solar panels when we're at a school and show students how we're using the solar panels to be able to charge these tablets and the technology that we have on the vehicle. And we're also going to have all of the things that you need to study in a stream or in a meadow or a forest. So we're going to have nets and field guides and, collection cups to collect macroinvertebrates, like all of the things that you would need to do an outdoor field study.
Yeah, and as we progress through with starting at this level with the materials we have now, we will also be looking to incorporate more instructional technology tools. So thinking about drones, how we can use them to map out spaces and look at the land around the streams that we're in. Also thinking about the robots that can be submerged in water and collect data for us and other types of probes that we can use to just collect data and show how we can collect data for a meaningful purpose and then teach math data collection procedures and processes through that data as well. So we're excited for the other content area connections with this because as we talk through this, there's a lot of social justice, civic engagement that comes out as well. So really looking forward to how we can also do some strong integration, not only just for science classes, but for other content areas as well.
100%. Yeah.
I actually love that because my brother-in-law does exactly what you're saying. He's a drone pilot and he's an environmental scientist. That's his career. But I believe he works in insurance, and I could be wrong about that. But he takes that drone and flies it into places where people can't get to survey, to evaluate if there's been a catastrophe that needs to be remediated, it's really cool that you're going to be offering that, because that's a real thing. That's something that people do, and then he brings it to the beach and we all get to wave. But at the drone. But no, it's really awesome that we're going to be branching out. Erin, I love what you're describing in terms of the hands-on activities. I love what you said about expanding the classroom, and it is challenging. Anytime we leave our four walls, it doesn't matter what you're teaching. You're out of your comfort zone.
Out of your comfort zone.
And I think that though can be very powerful. So I think to wrap up, I'm just kind of curious if either of you has an impact statement, something you really through this environmental mobile unit, and when EMU goes out to work with schools and work with students, what are you hoping the impact you're going to see in those type of experiences?
Yeah. Well, I think I often talk about my professional vision statement. Right, is that all students in all schools have access to high-quality outdoor environmental education in their daily school experience. And we see pockets of that happening, but my goal and my vision is that becomes the norm in schools across our region. And
I'd like to see the impact of students going home excited to share what they did that day and wanting to take their parents out to the space where they were and explore even further, or show their siblings or their cousins or someone else, and being able to take that knowledge and expand it to others as well, that they were so excited and enjoyed it so much that they want to tell someone else about it.
Well, it doesn't get any better than that. Thank you both for sitting down, talking us through this. I know we're going to continue these conversations about environmental literacy and sustainability as we start to look at, we get the email out in spaces. We're going to be capturing that and sharing it with our IU community. We'd like to sit and talk about partners one day. There's a lot going on in this space, but thank you for the rundown, and thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
For those that are listening to this, maybe your first podcast, we do have a number of ways that you can interact with us online. We have the MCIU Learning Network at learn.mciu.org. It's an open platform for anyone to access. We also invite you to follow us on any social media network at MCIU Learns or at the Montgomery County Intermediate Unit. There's a lot going on across all those channels, and we look forward to pushing out more content as the year moves on. And we wish everybody a happy fall. Thank you.